All right, we're recording this meeting. Meeting starting at 9:01. Forgive me, let me just let somebody else into panelist. There we go. So I want to welcome everybody this morning. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the Emergency Preparedness EP Communications Committee and Special Joint LBNC Board meeting, unofficially known as the Linda Pruitt Emergency Preparedness Committee meeting this morning. I appreciate everybody being here. It's great to see everybody. Hopefully soon in person, we'll just have to take it, a day at a time. Want to welcome Linda Schwering. Would you mind taking notes for this? Be our scribe. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. There's some people here that I actually don't know. I'm just happy to have people here. So I'd like to welcome everybody. And if everybody would like to, let me just let Dave in. Give me 1 second. If we want to go around and everybody can introduce themselves. Since we don't really know where everybody's at on here, I'm just going to call out names if that's okay. Why don't we start with Dan?
Good morning, everybody. Dan, call sign NR6V, Lake Balboa adjacent. And I'm a member of Los Angeles City ACS, Amateur Radio Emergency Service. And I'm the Communications Subcommittee Chair. And that's about it.
No. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Linda Schwering?
Linda Schwering, proud committee member, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, CERT 1, FRS, Geeky, and that's it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Sally Thompson?
Hi, everybody. Sally Thompson. ACS member, KM6LYD, Battalion 10 coordinator, EMR, that's probably lapsed by now, and just really happy to see everybody.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Marty?
Hi, Marty Wall. I'm amateur N6 Victor India. I've been licensed 53 years, and I am the training officer for LA City Fire's Auxiliary Communication Service, and also a assistant district emergency coordinator for Amateur Radio Emergency Service. The former serves the city, the latter mainly serves the county and its hospitals. Also GMRS and CERT 1, 2, 3. And I'm up in Chatsworth. I was the founding president of the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council, served as president for several years. I'm not affiliated with the CNC anymore, but I'm kind of a hanger-on to the Lake Balboa because they're still the best ones in terms of promoting preparedness activities. I'm also the treasurer of the Southern California Preparedness Foundation that has put on the annual until this year disaster preparedness fairs, and we can talk a little more about what's going to happen there in the future if you have time and would like to do so.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Michael?
Hi, Michael Hart, amateur call KC6MEH, and I'm involved with the Lake Balboa because I do the website for the Valley Disaster Preparedness Fair, and most of you are also part of the preparedness fair, so I'm here to see what we're going to do in 2022.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Rick Wood?
Hello, I'm Rick Wood, Kilo Delta 6, Juliet, Quebec, Oscar, or if your county, King David 6, John Queen Ocean. I am a member of a couple of different CERTs, and I was involved with the Valley Preparedness Fair, and that's one of the reasons that I found out about you guys, and you guys are really doing it right from what it sounds like. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Thank you.
Thank you so much and welcome. Anna?
Hi, everybody. Ana Gamboa, K6RCT, member of a few CERT teams, Sheriff's DCS, Disaster Communications. I was also involved in the Valley Prep, fair stuff that we did online, and a couple of other things. So here I am,
Wonderful.
looking
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing what we're going to do.
Thank you so much. Robert? Robert Moore?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was having trouble
Oh,
getting
no worries.
unmuted. I'm Robert Moore. I'm actually with the Granada Hills North Neighborhood Council, and I'm just visiting I'm the emergency prep chair for that council. And
Wonderful.
I'm just
Good.
starting out, so I'm trying to get some ideas and some insights.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you. Thank you so much for coming. Mickey?
Hi, good morning.
Hey, Mickey.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you always for allowing me to attend. Mickey Loy, I live in the Northwich West area. Cert 1, 2, 3, but all expired. And just happy to be here and be able to talk about emergency preparedness, because I think it's very important, and trying to get, just my neighbors to realize how important it is. We may not, hopefully we won't have to do anything, use any of our knowledge or whatever, but just trying to get as, educated as possible by attending these committee meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful to see you. Dave Brown?
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Dave Brown, North Hills West Neighborhood Council, or should I say Lake Balboa adjacent. And I've recently relinquished the chair of the Emergency Preparedness Public Safety Committee to our dear friend Maggie Elliott, who recently became an amateur radio, got her license, and is subsequently in the process of applying to get her father's old license call sign, which has proven to be some very entertaining to follow. Apparently ARRL was unable to help her in that, so she's back to dealing directly with the FCC. Those of you who know Maggie's disposition would not be surprised to know she has some ideas for improvement as how the FCC operates. Looking forward to, as time permits and interest, have a chat about disaster fair going forward, as well as perhaps NTP, the Neighborhood Team Program, which I is involved with as I'm able to time-wise, and enthusiastically support them. They're doing everything the disaster fair team used to do. They're doing it more, bigger, innovatively. I'd really like to see us perhaps as a group rally behind them as well and support their efforts, because it means we don't have to be doing everything. They're already doing a lot of what we routinely have been doing. So that's my 2 cents push for the morning.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good to see you. Christy? You're muted.
There it is.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's so good to see everybody. I think, though, that if we have an earthquake right now, we might lose Jeff.
Well, the good news is we know where everybody is right now.
So if you don't know me, I'm Christy Adair, and I am a longtime LAFD CERT coordinator, and what else? ACS, LAFD ACS. I'm also a ham, and also involved with NTP. In fact, we have a team leader meeting tomorrow. So we're getting the team leaders across Los Angeles together and sort of doing just a get everyone together meeting. So hopefully we'll see more of that in the new year. And I did find out that our LAFD CERT classes were supposed to start in January. In-person classes are now being pushed to March. So it's frustrating that we can't do in-person stuff through CERT officially. So it's a little frustrating, but it's so good to see you, Sandy, and thank you for having this meeting.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. It's great to see everybody. I just can't wait to, to hug people again. It's been a long time.
You're getting a big one.
Oh, yay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. All right. Thank you so much. It's great to see everybody. I'm just so grateful that you all are here. I'm excited about Jeff speaking in just a few moments. Linda Schwering, do we have quorum for voting for the minutes to be accepted? You're muted.
I'm not sure. Here, I'll give us some names and people say yes if they're here.
Okay,
Sandy Joseph,
I am here.
Dave Brown,
Here,
Michelle Dornfest,
I just got an email from her. She's stuck in another meeting, but she's going to try to call in when she can.
okay. Gary Kay,
He couldn't be here.
okay. Heidi Okahara,
Not here.
okay. Rick Pedersen,
Not here.
oh. Mary Penniman,
Not here.
Dan Tomlinson,
I'm here.
okay. Okay, those are our folks. Our quorum is supposed to be 6.
So
And
we don't have enough.
no, not at this time. What do we have? 1, 2, 3. Michelle would be 4. No, I'm sorry. Michelle would be 5. So we are a little short right now.
All right, well, we can table it, I guess, for the next meeting. And we'll just have lots of minutes to go through. Hopefully we'll have quorum then.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on to committee reports. I don't see anybody here from LAPD. James Brown, not here. How about EP Communications? Dan Tomlinson.
I am here.
Yay.
Couple of things going on. David W0DHG and the other David KK6DA, Chris W6AH, and I have been teaching classes on the WinLink amateur radio software. We started out with 10 or 12 people locally, and we're currently teaching a class that we had 235 people sign up from 35 states and 2 countries, the wonders of Zoom. We're also streaming those classes live on multiple forums, including YouTube, and we typically have 100+ viewing live, and they're being recorded so people can go back and watch them at a later time. So we're having great success with that, teaching the basics of WinLink in either 4 or 5 sessions. I think we may go 5 sessions on this this round because we have a particularly sharp group, and we may go into some a little more advanced stuff. So that's going very well. For those that don't know, WinLink is a software suite that essentially is like your email browser, Outlook, or whatever it is you use, except for it adds the ability to send emails over amateur radio, so that if the internet is down, you can still send emails via the WinLink gateways. When we started this, there were no gateways in the San Fernando Valley. I started the first one, and we now have 3, plus there are numerous other ones within radio range. I think I can hit at least half a dozen. So anyway, that's going well, and most of the served agencies, including the government, are using WinLink as an official mode of getting information around. If you think about, as an example, are the hospitals that Aries serve, if we have to send a list of medications that they need to replenish, that's pretty cumbersome to do accurately by voice. You can imagine item number 1, Oxycontin, I spell O, Oscar. You know, it's going to take forever, and the chance for mistakes is very high. On the other hand, with WinLink, we can send it as an email, and send it in what would take 20 minutes by voice, we can do it in a minute or so. So that's going very well. The other thing that's been going on is that back before the pandemic started, ACS applied for and was granted a substantial amount of money to create a proof of concept notification system for Mandeville Canyon. Mandeville Canyon is about a 5-mile deep canyon with steep walls and only one way in or out. And neither LAPD or LAFD has good radio communications in the canyon. So we put in a grant request to do a system using amateur radio and mesh networking in order to do that. We were granted a huge amount of money, more than we ever thought we'd get. And we now have much of the equipment has arrived. We have established a connection between the Emergency Management Department at the EOC and City Hall East. We have the equipment installed there. We've tested between other locations. We sort of have to go a long roundabout way to get signal into Mandeville Canyon. But once we get to the towers at the old Nike site, which is right above Mandeville Canyon, we believe we can get down into the canyon and get a signal to most of the residents in the canyon. At the very least, we could serve a gathering point where people could go and get information should their other sources of information be down. And that'll be done with a Wi-Fi-like connection. In other words, they would log into a Wi-Fi hotspot that we create. And just like when you go to a hotel and you log into the hotel system, you get a splash screen that has you agree to their terms. They will have the similar type of thing with information about evacuation status, that type of thing. So anyway, that's exciting stuff. We're actively working on that. Marty's working on an aspect of the process dealing with solar, because much of the system will be solar powered to get around grid problems. So that's really about it. Reminding everybody it's easy to get your ham license if you're interested. There are online resources that allow you to do that, and we'd be happy to guide you through that process. Back to Sandy.
Oh, thank you so much. Linda, you have a comment or a question?
Oh, I do, and this is for Dan. With regard to Mandeville Canyon, what agency actually granted the funds?
The City of Los Angeles has a innovation fund that grants money to employees, and in our case, volunteers, who have an idea using technology to better serve the public. And you know, if you ever think that our public outreach events that we do, both with Lake Balboa and the fair and all that, if you ever think that doesn't pay off, this all came about from a citizen contact that we had at a public safety event that we were doing, and a conversation that ensued. And I don't think it's a secret, we got $200,000 to do this project. And all from a conversation and an idea and a lot of work by, in particular, Michael Schlenker, Bill Koss, and a bunch of other guys. But those two were really involved in coming up with the concept and then figuring out how to make it work. The idea is easy, making it work's a little more difficult. So Innovation Commission from the city. Initially, we had to partner with a city agency. We were partnered with the Emergency Management Department. Because of COVID and some personnel issues, staffing shortages there, they basically said partway through it, we just don't have the people to handle this. And somebody from the Innovation Commission, who's been shepherding us through the process, said, hold on, and picked up the phone, and in a couple of minutes had Chief Terrazas from the fire department on the phone. And he linked in a bunch of people from the fire department and said, make this happen. So we're now partnered with the fire department, and they've been very good partners with us. We're having good luck with the city's ITA technology people, who in most cases we're in their facilities with our hardware, and they obviously have to protect all the other stuff that they're doing. And they've been really good to work with. So we're finding it's a good experience so far. Hopefully that answers your question, Linda.
It does, thanks.
Thank you. Brent, do you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Brent. I live in Encino. I am a ham, and any other way I can help, I'm happy to.
Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much. And I didn't introduce myself, but I'm Sandy Joseph. I'm the chair of the Emergency Preparedness Committee for Lake Balboa. I am also the second vice president for the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. I love emergency preparedness, and I'm a grateful member of this committee. And I'm very thankful to each of you that came today and that do what you do on a daily basis for the love of emergency preparedness and, you know, the people. So thank you so much. I would like, if you don't mind, I'm going to switch number 4 with number 5. Not that Jeff doesn't enjoy, you know, hanging out with us, but I'm sure you have a lot to do. But I want to introduce and just move forward with Jeff Edelstein, who is the owner of SOS Products in Van Nuys. We are huge fans, Lake Balboa, of SOS Survival Products. And I probably own about half the store in my house, but I love SOS Products, and Jeff has been just incredible friend to the community and to myself. So without further ado, Jeff Edelstein, if you don't mind, please take it away. Let's see all the fun gifts.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And I want to thank everybody for having me here today. I miss all of you. I really prefer doing this in person. I miss having people come in our store, but you know, the showroom has been closed for since March 2020. I'd like to reopen it, and we had plans to reopen it in August, and we had a COVID case here, and then for 2 days I had a total of 2 employees in the whole company here. So it was a rough couple days. It just showed us that we need a couple more people. So if anybody knows somebody that's looking for a job, I'm looking to hire 2 people for the front office, working with customers. And once we get more people, we will have an opportunity to actually open the store. So right now it's not because of COVID standards, I just don't have enough staff to reopen the store. With that said, it's been a long time since a lot of you have seen, I've been able to talk to some of you, and we've gotten a variety of new items. A lot's happened over the last 19 months or whatever it is. And I hope everybody's taking the last 19 months into account, like the supply chain issues, whether it's the rising costs in products or just supply chain issues, the lack of supplies, toilet paper and hand cleaner and canned food last March. It's something that was so important that we have supplies set aside. So today I brought a variety of things. Then I'm going to show you some things with regards to food, some water, some lighting, because I like lighting, and all of you are flashlight geeks just like me. It's a great group. I love talking to you guys because you get me. My wife, she's like, oh God, more flashlights at home. So basically, when it comes to preparedness or fun new items, we'll start with, how about we just start with some stuff with regards to first aid. Again, it's been a long year and a half, 2 years, or about 2 years with regards to COVID. And I don't want people to forget about updating their emergency supplies or their first aid kits. One of the things that usually gets forgotten about are the first aid kits. I highly recommend, all of you have different levels of first aid knowledge, and buying just a standard first aid kit just doesn't work. I am very much into customizing the kits. So whether it's adding in a tourniquet or extra tri-bandages, or, they always come with a tiny pair of scissors, so throwing in a pair of EMT shears, stuff that's truly going to work in the event of emergency, instead of like a little cardboard splint, throwing in a SAM splint. So some of the stuff we have now is like, we have empty boxes. So if you want to make your own first aid kit, we have empty bags, fancy, that you could organize a variety of small first aid items to throw in the car or wherever you want to carry it. But again, it's customizing stuff to meet your needs. Along the lines of first aid, again, don't forget, there's so many things, a lot of people have forgotten about updating their kits, and the things in the kits being tablets, ointments, first aid creams, let's see, ointments, tablets, first aid cream, the different types of wipes. All that stuff tends to have anywhere from a 18-month to 3-year shelf life. So that stuff has to be updated. Check in your first aid kit if you have latex gloves or vinyl gloves or nitrile gloves. Those tend to dry out over time, so just check those. And then I'm going to reference a couple different things as I go throughout the meeting. Yesterday I went through, we have probably about, well, I should take a step back. I mentioned supply chain issues. I've been in business, we're going into our 33rd year of business, which has been great. I love what I do. I love emergency preparedness. This is my life. Well, my family is kind of my life too, but and all of you are my family. No, emergency preparedness is just something that I live and breathe and very passionate about, and I want people to get prepared. It's not, I'm not doing this to give you a sales pitch. You'll see different, like I said, you'll see different things that we have, and whether you get it from us or someplace else, I just want you to get prepared. But I'm going to give you a lot of ideas. And with all those supply chain issues that we've had and that we're having, like my daughter and I for Thanksgiving went to Catalina, and we didn't go to vacation. We did a 26-mile hike along the Trans-Catalina Trail. Really cool thing, 6,000 feet of elevation gain in 3 days. Backpacking, got to try out a lot of our supplies, and that was really cool. And I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I learned. But when we went out there to Catalina, and I know you don't want to hear all my stories, but there were 75 to 100 cargo ships that we passed between LA Harbor and Long Beach Harbor, and some parked off the coast of Catalina. And that's where a lot of our product is right now. We've been waiting 3 months, 6 months for some items. Pricing is going through the roof from manufacturers. So with that said, a lot of products have been discontinued by manufacturers because they just can't bring in the product. So right now is a really good time. The next 2 weeks, or through December 31st, we have a closeout section on our website with clearance items, and I spent the last 2 days knocking all the prices down. A lot of them were discounted heavily, and the discounts are, we haven't had our parking lot sale this year, but they're like parking lot sale prices. They're crazy, like CPR masks for like the $2, $3, $4 range, and different things like that. So check out the closeout section. So I mentioned going camping. Good gift for the holidays. I don't know if any of you have your propane stoves, your butane stoves. This is what you end up seeing on like the Food Network when they have challenges, like if they're not in a restaurant to cook. This is a butane stove. uses a canister of butane. You'll get about 3 to 6 hours of use out of this. And, oh shoot. I'm gonna get back to this in a second, but this is extremely easy to use where you clip it in, you turn it on. What I wanted to do throughout my presentation, I was gonna make freeze-dried food. Not that I could share it with anybody, but I learned what I liked and what I didn't like. And how many of you have freeze-dried food at home? How many of you have tried your emergency food that you have? You guys have tried it? Yeah, some is really good, some is awful. And it's personal preference. You know, people always say, which ones do you like, which don't you like? Again, it's personal preference. The thing I have to remind you, if you have freeze-dried food, make sure you do a couple of things. Make sure you check the backs of each of the pouches, because whether it's pouches or cans, it always tells how many cups of water you need to reconstitute it. So if you have freeze-dried food, make sure you have the water set aside if you need to reconstitute it. Whether it's having a container like this, or like the 20-year shelf life bottled water, or a 55-gallon drum, or like the little containers like this, make sure you have your water set aside. But when it comes to this food, most people don't taste it. The other thing you have to think about is, okay, I have enough water set aside. How do I reconstitute it? Well, when you open it, you have to make sure you take out the little flavor saver. Make sure very first thing you do after you open it, these little gel packets, it's not for flavor. Take it out, get rid of it. But there are different types. 90% of the freeze-dried food out there, you have to put hot water in it. So do you have a measuring cup set aside with your emergency supplies? I really like, some people that work out, they have these little shaker bottles that you put a mixed drink or protein powders in. They have little markings on it that have cups, how many cups or ounces. So this is a good thing to have in your emergency kit. So you could fill water in here, you know how much you're doing, you pour it into your pot, the right amount, you boil the water, you pour it into your different pouches. But along with that, you want to also make sure with your emergency supplies, this is all stuff you should have set aside ahead of time. Even have some spoons set aside with your emergency supplies, because you do have to mix it or when you want to eat it. So just adding on the little additional items. One that I learned that I really like is the granola with milk and blueberries. This is probably one of the best ones. This was dessert for Thanksgiving dinner, which comprised of freeze-dried spaghetti with meat sauce, topped off with mac and cheese, and then dessert was granola with blueberries and milk. Wonderful, wonderful dinner, sitting in a tent and eating freeze-dried food, yes, and not having any. And then we had a couple days that we had, that should be in there. We had a couple days that we had cell service. One of the things, checking out from all electronics for 3 days, wonderful idea. So I highly recommend it for everybody. Check out as we're on a Zoom call. But check out from all electronics for a period of time. One, you could see how prepared you are, and two, use that time to, well, mentally it's nice, but use that time to test out your emergency supplies. Take a weekend and maybe over Christmas or New Year's and test out your stoves. Make sure you have the fuel that actually works for it. This is good. But the nice thing again with the blueberries or the granola is you don't need hot water. So this you can actually do with cold water. Okay, so that's one thing. Food, I was gonna cook up some food for you, but I forgot to bring a pot in here. Again, think about it as a disaster. A disaster hits. Do I have all the stuff together? So in my garage, I have a Rubbermaid tote, and I have a stove like this with at least probably about 8 cans of fuel. And then I also have some plasticware or silverware in there. I have pots and pans in there. So all my cooking stuff, a measuring cup, all the stuff I need for cooking is in one bin. I could just grab it and I know I have everything. It started with my camping supplies, but yeah, that we use that for our emergency supplies. So lesson learned with this, you know, I forgot my pot to boil water, but a good reason to have it all set aside ahead of time. A new item that we got in, you know, I mentioned water. A new item we got in, you know, a lot of people, some people have these 5-gallon containers. You know, they make a pump to get the water out. We just got in about a month or two ago, a little battery operated pump that fits on these containers. So you just pop this on and the water spills out or comes out of the tube. These are 45 pounds full, or 40 to 45 pounds full. So that's a pain in the butt if you have to pour it into something. So having a little battery operated filler or spigot is a nice thing. Nice addition to your emergency supplies. Oh, to have stuff here instead of bringing a bunch of things to your meeting. This is nice. Today I don't have my assistant to adjust the camera, so that's kind of the pain. Okay, with regards to food, other things to think about. Some of you might have like a 7-day supply. This is 7 days of freeze-dried food, 3 meals a day. Has a 30-year shelf life. It's the Mountain House brand, really good. But how I look at it is, as I mentioned, my daughter and I tasted all the different freeze-dried food we have. If you were to buy this, are you going to like all the different items in it? I think I'm not saying don't get something like this, but if you're buying a 1 month or 1 week or 6 month supply of freeze-dried food, think about the items that are in it. Are there things that you'll actually eat? Over the last 2 years, about a year ago, I discovered that I'm very allergic to corn, very allergic to sesame, and very allergic to olives. Olives, that's olive oil. Corn, that's any type of Mexican food, which kills me because it's my favorite type of food. It's a food group. It's just sesame, can't have Chinese food. So I've had to adjust all of my food eating needs. But so again, you have to think about what's in the food that you're getting. We have come out with different types of freeze-dried food kits. This is gluten-free. This one, there's 3-day kits, gluten-free, vegetarian, there's vegan. So we've tried to meet different dietary needs, but I highly recommend when you're buying freeze-dried food, check the content for your dietary needs. The mac and cheese by Mountain House has a low sodium count. The mac and cheese by Backpacker's Pantry was sodium through the roof. It was just insane how much sodium was in it. So be careful with the different types of food you choose, whether it's dietary needs, allergies, or sodium. So be careful with that. Something I like adding to kits or my supplies, it's not something we sell, but I don't know if any of you drink almond milk, but in the stores, they sell small containers of almond milk. This usually has about a 6-month shelf life sitting on the shelf, sitting not cold. So not a bad thing. So you don't have to, if you don't have refrigeration, you could still drink this, but you're not opening up a whole carton. So something to think about to add into your emergency kits. Let's see. Oh, a couple new items that we have. Well, I don't know if any of you know, but we carry a whole line of Lifestraw water filters now. That's something new. They have a wide range of well, the 3 different ones from basic to basic bacteria to bacteria and viruses that it'll filter. In the last 6 months or so, we got in Sawyer makes a water tap filter. This has a little rubber gasket, so you can put this on a spigot. So you can put it on your sink faucet and water will filter out through it, or you can put it on the spigot of your water heater and your water will filter through that. So it's compact, great little filter. It's just something different, but I've always recommended having something you could filter out the water from your water heater. Though it might be clean water, you get a lot of sediment at the bottom of the water heater. So that's a really good option. It'll filter out all that sediment. I'm really antsy to make you a meal, even though you're not going to eat it. Heater meals, it's another type of meal out there, usually about a 3 to 5 year shelf life. There's about 6 different menu options. It's like MREs. MREs are meals ready to eat. Some people love them, some people hate them. It's usually about a 1,200 calorie meal. These are about 400 to 600 calories per meal. It's just a single entree. Comes in a little pouch, little aluminum pouch. Comes with a heating element, which is really cool. And we're going to heat this up. So all you have to do is figure out how to open the bag. And MREs with heaters, they work the same way. So the cool thing with this, it even comes with a little pouch of water. You pour it in the bag. And tape it closed and we're good to go. So in about 10 minutes, this should be hot. It'll start steaming and within the next about 10 minutes or so. So we'll leave that set aside right now. Making all this food for you. It's holidays. Think about the holidays for you guys. You know, what better time to test out your emergency food rations by serving them for Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's or whatever. You know, test out your skills, test out the food that you have, but also use that time to update your food. So if you have canned food set aside, make sure you're rotating it out. Donate it to a food bank because canned food tends to have about a 1 to 2 year shelf life. Something I don't want you to forget about is we're talking about different types of food. Some you'll like, some you'll hate. Make sure you have some sort of antacid. This is my go-to. If I didn't have Pepsi in my emergency kit, I'd be in deep trouble. But think about, you're not eating food like you normally would, so make sure you have some sort of antacid with your emergency food or with your emergency supplies. So food and water, extremely important. Something I usually can't bring to the neighborhood council meetings. You know, if you want a nice stocking stuffer, the water barrel's great stocking stuffer. But this is a great way to store a lot of water in a small amount of space. With these, unfortunately, this is one of the things. I don't know if you remember back in February around Valentine's Day, Texas got hit with just devastating ice storms and freezing cold, where it destroyed, the storm ended up destroying 160 factories that produce the plastics that are used for plastic production everywhere. Most of them are up online now, but I've been getting a price increase once a month on water barrels. I just got one the beginning of December. It was a $5 increase on barrels. So, but once a month they've been going up. So unfortunately, plastics, anything with plastic is going up in price like everything else in the world. I was told yesterday that they might start coming down in the next couple months, but for right now, unfortunately, it is becoming a very cost prohibitive thing, anything with plastic. Okay, so water barrels, anything to do with water, make sure you have some of that. And I think I showed all of you. If any of you haven't seen it, this is Pure by Water. It's a 20-year shelf life. At home, I used to store a bunch of the bottled water like this, but this only has a couple of year shelf life. So with this, I have a bunch of cases of this in my garage. If you live in an apartment, you don't have a lot of space, it's a good thing to put it in closets, under beds. It doesn't take up much space. So that's a good thing to have set aside for people that are in an apartment. Okay, and oh, I hear the food heating up. It's going now. Some steam should come out of this soon. With regards to food options, food bars, it's not just tastes like a coconut cookie. There's cinnamon flavor. There's little bars that are vanilla, raspberry, apricot. So there's a variety of different flavors of some of the smaller 400 calorie emergency bars. Those have a 5-year shelf life, so it's nice to, again, stocking stuffers or have it in a variety of places. So food and water, those are some things. Something else to think about, if you have too much food. Oh, can you see the steam coming out of this? And cool. It's definitely heating up. Yeah. Wow. Special effects at SOS. I love that. So another thing is, well, portable toilets. Now, it's not just any portable toilet, because if you buy something like this, you can take the toilet seat and use it for the holidays, give it as a picture frame for your loved ones. And a nice picture back there, hanging on the wall. But it's a toilet seat that fits on any 5-gallon bucket, snaps on. You can put some emergency supplies in there, so it's all ready to go. And when you do that, make sure you throw in a couple rolls of toilet paper, because again, sometimes it started to become hard to come by. Costco's limiting people to one big package of toilet paper again. Good times. Let's see. Sanitation, something that I also want to mention. A lot of you might have emergency kits, but again, a good gift idea. There's different small little emergency kits, somebody that's just learning to drive, somebody that turns 16. Great little gift for the car, or somebody that's going to college. Here's a 4-person emergency kit, comes in a duffel bag. These have food, water, first aid, hygiene, lighting, all types of items. Or you can just make a kit on your own, customize it to your needs. I mentioned this is a good little kit for a car. I have one of the big duffel bag kits at home, but I also have so many other supplies. So that's my grab and go. I mentioned I have all the camping supplies, but like in the car, I enjoy, well, not that I enjoy, but I'm a big fan of customizing kit in my car to meet my needs. I used to, well, I'm hiking on the trails every Sunday, so I have a very comprehensive first aid kit. We have 2 dogs, Seismic and Mercalli. Yes, earthquake dogs. So in each of our cars, we have a little collapsible bowl. We have a leash, or actually we have 2 leashes in each car. I also have I don't know where it is, but I have a tether. We have 2 Brittany Spaniels, and they're very, very rambunctious. And I don't feel comfortable with them in my car. Say I have to evacuate the house, or if we even go anywhere with them, I don't want to put a crate in the back of the car, because that's kind of a pain in the butt. So at the pet store, they have a leash, or a little leash extension that clips into seat belts in the car. It's about 20, 30 inches. It's expandable, but it has a little clip at one end that you clip onto their collar, and the other end goes into the seat belt in the car. Highly recommend anybody that has pets, go to the pet store, buy one of those, or buy those for each of your cars and for each of your pets that you have, or dogs that you have. Because that's just a safety item. And you figure if you have to evacuate because of a fire or an earthquake, dogs are going to be a lot more rambunctious than normal. So it's something to keep them calm in the car, so they're not jumping in your seat. So I've customized the kit in our cars, like I said, with stuff for the dogs. I am sight challenged, so I have an extra pair of glasses in each of my emergency kits. I have the water that has a 5-year shelf life, holds up to the heat and the cold. I have some food bars that also hold up to the heat and the cold and 5-year shelf life. Okay, I have a lot of flashlights in my car. I have a headlamp, but I think I have 7 or 8 flashlights in the car because flashlights are cool. And you could never have too many flashlights. Something new with a lot of the flashlights, I'm sure a lot of you have known, well, I'll get into that in a second. I have some light sticks in the car kit. Again, I mentioned a bunch of first aid. Yes, I've also gone overboard with having too many knives. I was looking in my center console yesterday for a tire gauge, and I found a multi-tool and I think 3 or 4 knives in my center console. I don't know why, but they were there. Along that same line, I know a lot of you have these on your keychains or you keep them in your car. A little window breaker seatbelt cutter, great gift for the holidays, but if any of you haven't seen it, this is a little spring-loaded metal pin. It's hard to see on the camera, but spring-loaded metal pin, you push this into the side windows on the car, it shatters. And then there's a little blade that's used to cut with one hand, used to cut a seatbelt. So you can use it to cut a seatbelt and then break the side windows on a car. Really good item. It does not work on the back and front windows. If you have these or the little hammers, do not keep them in the trunk of your car. Do not keep them in the glove compartment. Make sure you have this so it's accessible. Put in a center console or in an ashtray or on your key ring. So those are some items I have in the car. Like I said, I customize the items in my car kit quite a bit. Well, let's talk about something with regards to lighting, because that's always fun. Lesson learned with my hike. These little solar panels work really well. I haven't really needed them before, but strapping this to our backpacks and having it charging a little battery pack was a great thing. Or an option was my daughter, she has an what are they, iWatches or whatever they're called, an Apple Watch. That's what I guess. A Macintosh watch, right? No, so she has an Apple Watch, and it loses its charge in the evening. So when we were hiking, when we got to the campsite, she just set up the little solar panel, hook up her watch to it, and it charged within an hour. So that was a nice feature, having the solar panels that you could charge different stuff. If you don't be fooled that every one of these is going to work for every device. So I highly recommend, if you have any type of solar panels, test them out. Make sure they're actually going to work on your devices that you want them to work on before you actually need it. One of the things that we found is I have a little 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack. I could usually get about 4 charges off my phone from this. So this is a really nice feature, but this solar panel is only 10 watts. And I'm sorry, the panel that we brought was a 7-watt panel, and it would take about 6 to 8 hours at least, or 6 to 10 hours if we want to charge the battery pack. So know the items you have, know what works for what. This solar panel made by Goal Zero does not store the power. So you want to have some sort of battery pack you could store it in. This style has a battery pack on it. It'll hold the charge. And this 2800 or about a 3000 milliamp hour battery pack that'll charge a cell phone within about an hour to 2 hours. So I like this because it does have the battery pack option. Another item we just threw on our closeout rack because the company is, of course, changing the style. These little battery packs, cell phone chargers, it's a 2600 milliamp hour. These just went down to $10 a piece on the website, limited number of them, but good little thing. I like having those. I keep those types of battery packs in each of my emergency kits, and then every few months I just recharge them. I make sure that they're fully charged. But something I also like having with my emergency supplies a Ziploc bag, not just a Ziploc bag, but a Ziploc bag with a wall adapter, so I have an AC and a DC adapter, one that will go in the cigarette lighter, one that will go in the wall, and then the different cables. So I have my cell phone cable, because in the event of a disaster, if you're not able to charge your phone, you can't find your cables. I have a 19-year-old and he disappears with these all the time that are left around the house. So I make it a point to have these in each of our emergency kits. But now so many things are being charged with USB cords. I have the headlamps we're using for when we went on our camping trip. It's charged with USB. Some flashlights I have as a USB charger, cell phone, my watch, all that stuff. So all those things use different types of cables. So it's a good idea to have extras of those set aside with your emergency kits. I think even, for a holiday gift, to give somebody a variety of different cables, a bag with those, and a cell phone charger, not a bad gift. Yes, I like emergency supplies as gifts for holidays. I'm sorry. So that's some of the stuff with regards to radio, or with cell phone charging, solar charging. Some of you might have, this is a good time to go through, this is an old, of course it's all dirty. This used to be one of the greatest little lanterns. This uses 6 or 8 D-cell batteries. It would give about 20 hours of use. It was bright, but it only give about 20 hours of use. It's fluorescent tubes. Newer technology, 2,000 lumens. You even have a dance party, huh? 2,000 lumens. It'll give well over 100 hours of light. It uses 6 D-cell batteries. As opposed to either of these large ones, something that we have in each room in the house, a tiny little lantern. This goes, I think, 175 hours off three or four AA batteries. So, the old lanterns that used to use these giant 6-volt batteries that would well, they're heavy, they're cumbersome, and it's a big lantern. And these would only give, like around 20 hours also. Replace that with newer LED technology lanterns, same size, much more conducive to having in different places throughout the house. So when we've had power outages at the house, we know we could just go into a cabinet in each room, turn it on, and we have a source of light. And then we could have a dance party when it's done. No, sorry for my stupid humor. My kids are upset with it too. Okay, and other fun stuff. Lighting is always the most fun. Again, there's tons of new lights out there. This is, I know it doesn't show very well, but this is a little light with a little wand on it, a newer item that we got into the store. There's a variety of flashlights. If anybody needs a good deal on mag lights right now, some of the older style mag lights are being discontinued by Mag. Mag is a little, as I'd say, 10 years behind on technology. So they're finally switching over to all LED, but they're older styles. Any of them that we have is heavily discounted on the website right now. 6-cell, we have this is a 4-cell, we have a 6-cell. So if anybody needs a good softball bat, we have that available. And then there's the old standby. There's the newer style flashlights by Mag. Something I like with mini mag flashlights, or this one, you could use it as a lantern. So it's something that has a unique feature where the top unscrews. This one, my favorite mag lights made. It's compact. It's two C-cell batteries. It's bright and it's durable. And then there's Streamlight, and there's so many different flashlight options. Just make sure you test them out. There's thousands, and there's unlimited number of flashlights out there. It's finding ones that actually meet your needs. Yes, you could find them on the internet for, you know, pennies on the dollar, and they're basically disposable flashlights. But when you truly need a flashlight to work for you, are some of those inexpensive disposable flashlights really going to stand the test of time? Are they going to be there when you truly need it? Test them out, see if they work. But I do have, there's something to be said about Maglite, Streamlight, Pelican, Surefire. Better quality, Coast makes a good quality flashlight. There's the ones with the lifetime warranties, usually there's a reason that they're a little more expensive because they'll last for a long time. I have people that come in with Streamlights that are 10 and 20 years old with a Streamlight Stingers. So there's lots of options out there. Just make sure you find the flashlight to meet your needs. Again, I've gone overboard. My daughter's gone overboard with flashlights. Makes me so happy. And she, since I've seen all of you, my daughter has graduated from college, so she's no longer in Denver, and she's back here in a master's program, becoming a teacher. But with regards to her, when she moved to Denver, it was, Dad, which flashlights should I bring? You know, she had to have a lantern and some flashlights in her apartment. So it's something that, like I said, it made me proud that it's something that she thinks about. Glow sticks, these tend to have about a 4 or 5 year shelf life. Double check the dates on these, but again, good stocking stuffers. Good thing to have in a house or an apartment, or if you're back in an office building, to have in your desk drawer. Mini mag flashlights, all that stuff. So think about those. Again, headlamps, there's so many different shapes and styles. I always thought these were dorky, but my gosh, when you find a headlamp that really fits right and that's lightweight, there are some of these that use batteries, like this one uses, and they get really bright. Some of these this uses a couple AAA batteries, but a lot of them now have the USB chargers, and that's what I was using in Catalina. And we kept the cord on us, so if you're in the field, you're using a flashlight or a headlamp. If you're getting a really lightweight headlamp that's going to fit, it's not going to be weighing down on your head. Oh no, I kind of like that option. And then having a cell phone charger or a USB charger that you can charge up quickly, that works well. So there's lots of different flashlights out there. And then there's the little keychain flashlights. Again, good stocking stuffer. Power failure lights. I don't know how many of you have experienced power outages lately. I know when we were in Catalina, I got a text from my wife that 2 of our friends out in the Conejo Valley had power outages on Thursday of Thanksgiving, Thursday morning at about 10 o'clock. And SoCal Edison said that they would not get power till Saturday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning. One of my friends had purchased a dual fuel generator, and like a 7,500 watt dual fuel generator, actually tri-fuel generator. So he plugged it in, he hooked the natural gas line onto his generator, and he had no problems. So it was like he had the refrigerator was going, they didn't lose any of their Thanksgiving food. All was good, and then they got their power out back at like 9 o'clock at night. So it wasn't a horrible day, but it's something that power outages happen with the weird weather we have. I guess we have weather now. It's kind of cool. We had that moisture coming from the sky this past week. Woo! The little things in life. But power outages, this is a little power failure light. If the power goes out, it lights up automatically. Good little thing to have around the house. If any of you have these, pull them out of the wall, test it to make sure it works, because inevitably, I'm sure at least one of you at your house has a power failure light. You're going to pull it out and it's in the off position. If it's in the off position, it's not going to light up automatically. A lot of times people turn them off because they unplug it, they plug in a vacuum or a hair dryer or whatever. So make sure you're checking these on a regular basis. Every about 6 months, I'll pull it out of the wall and I'll see how bright it is, or in the middle of the, not in the middle of the night, but in the evening when it's dark out, I'll pull these out to see it, make sure it's lighting up an area that actually works. And yes, I've gone overboard and I have way too many of these in our house. We have some motion sensor power failure lights that light up the whole hallway. And then if the power goes out, it lights up the whole hallway and the whole downstairs. So there's some really cool ones out there. The only disadvantage of power failure lights, the manufacturers only keep them around for about 5 to 10 years. And once people really start learning about them, they discontinue them and change the model. Makes it really tough to sell or to keep them around. Because right when everybody gets used to them, they move on to something else. Okay. You know, everybody in this group is into the FRS and GMRS radios. There's all different types out there. Again, all different price ranges from $20 on up to $100, usually coming in sets. But there's cool stuff out there, good gifts. A nice little case with a flashlight, because again, everybody needs flashlights. There's the radios, the AM FM radios, the weather band radios, ranging from $29 to $59. This is made by Midland. It's a really great radio, works up hand crank, solar power, plug it into a USB port to charge it up, has a flashlight, AM FM, it has weather band channels, it has a USB charger that you could charge your cell phones in about an hour. So when you're doing the solar or the hand crank or plugging into the wall, it's charging a little 2600 milliamp hour battery pack. And that's what's keeping the charge in it. So when you need it, it's powered up. This also has a Ronco juice squeezer. So it's a great little thing. This is a nice one. There's a little larger one that actually comes with, they use 6 AA batteries to power it. So lots of options with radios, test them out. If you have a hand crank radio, test out, make sure it actually works. If it says it has a cell phone charger on it, test out the cell phone charger, make sure it actually charges your cell phone, because again, we found some of these that do not charge cell phones, not quite like they say they do. Okay, a couple more things. Good gift items. I think under $2, we have some, in the closeout area, some survival bracelets with the paracord survival bracelets. So under the $2 range, good deal. Fire sticks, you know, anybody that's watching Survivor, you know, they see them scraping the little fire sticks and they can't do it. Good time to buy one of these and test it out for yourself. Yeah, well, you could spark up a fire, and no, it's actually fun to play with. It's cool to know how to use these. Personally, I just have some matches with my emergency supplies and don't even deal with this. But those of you that want to, you know, pretend you're on Survivor, great thing to have. It's also a good thing to have in your emergency supplies. Now, with regards to power, this is one of those things that finally Goal Zero has come out with a wider variety of battery units. This is a 500 pound. It's a 500 watt unit. This has USB ports. It has little AC and DC ports, so it has like the cigarette lighter and the regular wall outlet. I like this one a lot. Somebody that has special medical needs and that might need a CPAP to sleep with at night, you'll get at least 12 hours of use out of the CPAP with this. Somebody that has an oxygen machine, it might be this size or at least 1,000 watt unit. So this is good for people with medical devices. This is also a good thing to have. You can charge your phones, run your computers, your laptops. If you're in the field, charge your ham radios. I like using this to light up. You know, you could use it. A great resource are LED lights or Christmas lights, holiday lights. This is I think a 15-foot strand, and it only draws 3 watts of power, if that. So it's something that utilize resources that you have, toward the end of the year, they're going to be selling all the Christmas lights at a discount. If you have these types of battery packs or Goal Zero units, go to the stores. This unit here, this battery or this strand, you could link, I think, 30 or 40 of these together. So you could get 100-foot strands, you could string them around the house, but it's a good source of light. So you know you have some source of light around the house. And then these little battery packs are also good, or power packs, they're good. Oh shoot, you can't see it. I'm gonna run around here. Say you have a little mini refrigerator. These little mini refrigerators usually sell for about $60 to $120. Great resource for power outages. They don't draw as much power, but you could use it you could run it off these little devices or next size up. You'll get hours of use. So somebody that might have medication that needs to be kept cold, or if you have food that you need to keep cold, those small little refrigerators are a good option. And then also good little gifts for the holidays for all of you that are involved in CERT or one thing or another. There's little inexpensive books on emergency preparedness and wildfire safety, or preparing children for disasters, functional needs, fire ready, or for volunteers, a book on that, CERT field guide, stress control and resilience. So all different things. There's lots of different books ranging in price from probably $5 to $10 each. So lots of items for the holidays, lots of new items. Goal Zero did just finally come out with, probably about 4 to 6 months ago, came out with a 6,000 watt unit. I've been carrying Goal Zero for over 10 years now, since they first came out, and it's probably one of the nicest battery packs I've seen them come out with. It's 6,000 watt. You could run a whole house or most of a house on that. And then a really nice feature is hooking up to like your power supply in your house. You could put like a transfer switch, have an electrician install a transfer switch onto your electric panel, plug your Goal Zero unit right into that, and power 4 or 5 different outlets. There's circuits in your house. So bottom line, a lot of things. I wish there were more new items, but unfortunately, the past 18 months has been maintained as much as possible. With regards to emergency preparedness, again, a lot of lessons learned. This has been a year of thinking about the thing that scares me, all of us are into preparedness here. The thing that scares me with everything that's happened in the last 18, 19 months is if we have a major earthquake or some sort of major disaster, our supply chain is not going to be able to handle it. It already can't handle what's going on right now. So this is a perfect time to get people stocked up, whether it's with extra food or extra water. Like I said, the lighting, maybe it's having the water filters, extra toilet paper. Something we've done at home, we've also, we in the last 2 years, we now have a full garden, and there's nothing like going out to the garden and getting zucchini or tomatoes, right from the garden, and actually having it ready to eat. Not relying on the market for that. We've now become self-sufficient, and over the last year and a half, last 8 months, I've become a pizza snob, and I now have a pizza oven in my backyard, the portable pizza oven. There's nothing like taking fresh basil off a plant in the backyard and putting on a margarita pizza. And using your own tomatoes. Oh gosh, good times. Self-sufficiency. We never even go out for pizza anymore because we're too much of snobs about it, because my daughter makes the dough. And again, sorry, I digress. When it comes to the emergency supplies, I'll wrap this up right now. When it comes to the emergency supplies, just get your friends to get better prepared. make sure if they have pets, it's a good time to get them prepared with their pets. And just do the little things. I mean, most or all of you teach classes on preparedness. They're all involved in preparedness for whether it's a year or 2 years, or I remember when Sandy first got involved, took her first CERT class, and gosh, it was such a happy time. No, to see how far you've come with regards to preparedness, it's incredible. And like I said earlier in this, the preparedness community is like a family, and we all work together into better preparedness all around. And the reason I'm doing this talk, it's not I mentioned stuff that we have on sale, but bottom line, just use some of these ideas to get other people prepared. Take some of these examples of things I've shown, and put together little stocking stuffers for people or your next door neighbors, or just expand the reach of preparedness in your community. I miss not having missed the emergency fair this past year, but it happens. I haven't been to an emergency fair in quite a while. I can't wait till we have classes in the class again. Dan, I miss having you here teaching classes. Really miss having the classes here. But we've been doing them on Zoom, and I think we're coming out with a couple new classes for the new year. One geared toward about an hour and a half on food and water and prepping and all that stuff with food and water. We have our power outage class, and then we have a regular emergency preparedness class. All are free. And one day we will have them back in our training room here, so I won't have to talk to you over Zoom, and I can actually see all of you in person. That's it. I've taken up all of your time enough, and I appreciate it. And I really appreciate you having me here.
Thank you so much for doing this. And I'm just curious, how good is that meal that you heated?
Oh, which one did I heat? Oh, kielbasa sausage and spicy sauce. I probably should have done one that I actually like.
I won't make you eat it. It's okay. But thank you so much for doing this.
I just don't like the spice, but it feels like it's warm. It's hot.
Yeah.
I should have done there's other ones that I like much more. Probably should have done one that I like.
You know what though? You did it. We saw the steam rising, and so it was good. Well, but let's see. We have somebody that has a question, I believe. Michael, did you have a question?
Yeah. Hi, Jeff. There were a couple of fairs which we had a booth at, and I must have passed out about 100 of your catalogs. But quite a few people pointed out had expired coupons on them. Do you have any updated ones, or how should I tell them to get a discount going to your
Well, right now
store?
with coupons, we've kind of suspended the coupons just because we've gotten hit with so many price increases over the last 8 months. So yeah, it's something that unfortunately, I mean, we have large corporations that we've dealt with for years, and right now we're not even doing employee discounts for their employees because I've gotten hit with so many price increases from manufacturers. Like I said, water barrels, we've gotten an increase once a month. Freeze-dried food is the number of emails I've gotten from companies over the last 3 weeks saying, January 1st, all your pricing is going up. Some of them 10%, some of them 20%. One of the food bar companies that we get food from just added a 14% or 15% onto their costs. So it's hard for me to absorb that. I want to give discounts, but for right now, yeah, we just can't do it. My steam is coming up again. So right now we don't have any coupons that are active.
Okay.
We'll have to re-examine it in the new year, but until then, yeah, unfortunately, no current coupons.
Okay.
But
No
again,
problem.
there's the closeout section that has some great items. They're not bad items. They're just not, just product changes or manufacturer changes.
Marty, do you have a question? Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted, Marty.
There we go. Let's do that. The it's not a question, but I wanted to comment on those automatic lights that come on when you're, you have in your outlet when the power goes out. They were bright enough that I know in a couple of cases we had power outages. This is before I got my my solar and battery backup for the house, but we were wakened by the light in our bedroom coming on. It was bright enough that it told us, oh, we must be having a power outage. And in fact, we wouldn't have even known it. So the thing is really effective, and you put it in, key around stairs and, in sleeping rooms and so on. And the nice thing is you can, at least the ones we have, I don't know if Jeff, the current one is like this, but you could set it either to point forward away from the wall, or you can have it point up, like if it's behind a piece of furniture. Either way, it's enough so that you can find it, grab it, it becomes a flashlight, and very, very handy.
Yeah, that's exactly. This one here, it goes either up or straight out. Anytime there's a power outage, we always wake up in the middle of the night because of the fact that I have too many of these around the house.
You're lit up like the Titanic, right?
That's awful.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention both Dave and Michael mentioned the fair and some of the handout things. I think where we're going next year for the fair is rather than have a standalone event, is to combine with the Granada Hills Street Fair, because they've already got so much of the logistics and the infrastructure there, and they've offered us basically a whole block to set up. And it would save us a huge amount of time and volunteer time and effort, and we can concentrate on the outreach part. Dave and Michael and I and Maggie did that back in late October when they had their street fair. We just had one booth, but we had them lined up down the block. We were prepared for 1,000 people with the bags and everything, and we overran that in the first 3 hours. So we probably had 1,500 people come through without any pre-announcement that we were going to be there. So there's the demand, and that looks like the optimum venue for us to take advantage of limited volunteer resources and still a lot of public exposure. And that typically takes place maybe the third weekend of October. So just FYI, again, it'll be formalized later, but I think Dave can chime in if he disagrees, but I think that's where we're headed.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Marty. That's awesome. Christy, did you have a comment?
Hi, I did. Lower my hand. Something with the headlamps is I've always had trouble at drills when we have hard hats on, and keeping the headlamp on the hard hat. Is we just had a drill at work, and I put the headlamp around my neck like a choker, and it worked great. It wasn't too tight, but I'm just saying, when it's on your helmet, sometimes that you blind your teammate because it goes right there. But the last couple of drills, I put it around my neck like a choker, and it worked great. It's just so much more comfortable. Just FYI. And Jeff, thank you. I learned some things and I was taking notes, and always great. So thanks, Sandy, for having Jeff.
Yeah, of course. I'm so thankful for him, to be here. Does anybody, Dave, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, not only am I a big fan of flashlights in general, but those plug-in emergency lights, I've been sold on those forever, and I think, and I've saved an old one. I've had some, my gosh, over 20 years old. The batteries had developed memory effect. They may have been NiCads, who knows? But they're all kaput, and I'm discovered that the ones readily available at the moment are not as of high quality. So the manufacturers that I can determine, I've gone to their various websites, and it looks like everything gets imported for the most part. But if anybody ever discovers a higher quality version of them, that might be worth laying into a quantity supply to lower the per unit cost, and then we can pass them out amongst ourselves. But I'm a huge fan of that concept, huge fan. As disorienting as it may be when you wake up with light coming from underneath furniture and wherever there were previously unused outlets, it's a very disorienting feeling. but they work great.
Dave, you
just-
might want to take one of those defunct ones apart, just crack the shell, and let's see what sort of battery is in there. There might be a replacement form factor that we could put in.
Interesting. All right, good idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I like them. I'm a huge fan of that as well. I've got them plugged into every room, and I mean old school. I'm not the new ones where you can, move it to up or down, but they still work, so I love those, and I've got them all over the house as well. Anybody else have any questions for Jeff? Jeff, thank you so much again for coming and showing us all the toys and making some food there. Too bad we can't enjoy it.
Thanks, Jeff.
I'm really grateful to you, and you don't have to hang out. So thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Talk to you
Jeff.
soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, it's awesome. So let's go to public comment on non-agenda items. We just pushed that a little bit forward. Dan, go ahead.
I just wanted to remind everybody, there were 2 fatal traffic accidents on Saticoy yesterday between Louise and Etowanda. That makes 5 in the last month between Balboa and Etowanda on Saticoy. So please just drive carefully out there. These the one last night or yesterday afternoon on Etowanda and Saticoy was an 85-year-old man was hit by a car that didn't stop. The one at Louise and Saticoy night before last woke me up. It was so loud, killed the passenger in a car. So be careful out there. People are driving fast. They're not stopping at red lights. You add on top of that all the street takeovers. Etowanda and Saticoy is basically a weekly takeover on Sunday nights. They've also been at Louise and Saticoy, Lindley and Saticoy. For some reason, that street's really popular. And so just be careful out there. They're just knuckleheads out there. And in a lot of cases, innocent people are suffering for it. So please be careful, particularly as we get into the holiday craziness, because it gets even worse as people get that holiday anxiety and stuff. So anyway, just 2 cents worth.
No, thank you. That's important.
Yeah, I want to
Anybody
thank
else?
Dan for posting that, a lot of stuff on Facebook, on CERT and regular Facebook to let us know about the accidents and fires and any kind of disasters. It's really helpful when you go out to drive. Your postings are extremely valuable for to know what area to kind of avoid. Just want to thank you.
And unfortunately, there are few and few areas not to avoid, but that doesn't even get started on the gang crimes. Had another robbery last night, gang robbery at I think it was Nordstrom's at Northridge Mall. So that's just out of hand.
Agreed. Anybody else on public comments? Okay. Please, let's not forget about the animals out there, and we support Operation Blankets of Love. If anybody has any, clean new blankets, towels, collars, leashes, food, they take that and they deliver them to shelters and animals in need. And so happy to pick that up. Just keep that in mind. Also, Sunday morning, Lake Balboa Amateur Radio Net is every Sunday at 9 a.m. It's Simplex 145.570. And also FRS GMRS Walkie Talkie Check-In is Sunday at 10 a.m. Channel 15, is that correct?
It is. There's a new repeater that has the same output as Channel 15, and
Okay.
they've been interfering a lot. So our alternate is Channel 17, and we may end up having to make a change because 2 weeks in a row. It's Spanish speakers, and I don't know whether they're running higher than legal power, but I know yesterday I had the radio on in the background with the antenna disconnected, and they were coming through basically full power. So we may have to move. I hate to do that because so many people know where we're at, but if we can't communicate, we need to move. So we'll decide that in the next week or so. But
Okay.
17 is the alternate. If you find that we're not on 15 and there's other stuff going on. Problem is, a lot of people can't hear the other station, but because I have a fairly effective antenna, I get kind of the disadvantage of a good antenna is that it also picks up the stuff you don't want to hear too.
Dan?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned that when you remove the antenna, you can still hear that repeater's output. When you remove the antenna, can you hear loud stations like myself and Brent?
Yes, sometimes. I've heard Lou. I have an antenna switch, so I'm not really removing the antenna.
Yeah.
But maybe they're jumping the switch. But
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what if it's much stronger than your local 45 watt stations, that might indicate a power issue.
Yeah, it's full quieting with no antenna connected. So, and they're in, I think they're La Mirada is where the license comes back. They're IDing, at least the repeater's IDing. And I looked it up. I think it was La Mirada or something. So quite a bit east of us. Anyway, we'll have to deal with a channel change potentially.
But if you do, please let me know and I'll change it on the format as well. Okay. And we'll take that off.
One of our regular members, Lou, who runs another repeater locally, was going to reach out to the repeater owner if he could and see if they could give us a free pass on Sunday mornings for the 15 minutes that we use that channel. So.
Okay. Oh, our next meeting will be March 12th, will be the second Saturday in March 2022, which sounds like a long time away, but it's around the corner. And, I just want to thank everybody for coming today. Welcome to Robert Moore. It's great to have you here, as well as Rick Wood. Very nice to meet you both. And thank you for coming and supporting this Emergency Preparedness Committee. We hope to see you in March. And Robert, if you need any information, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. And congratulations on being part of EP yourself. I'm very happy for you and your community because it's huge.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you. So again, thank everybody. Oh, I'm sorry, Linda, go ahead. I didn't see your hand.
Oops, just quickly, since we didn't actually make a quorum today, are we going to consider this meeting notes because we have no voting, etc.?
At this point, yeah, we have to. You okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And again, great to see everybody. I miss you all and hope to see everybody soon and look forward to my hugs. I'm just going to park it out there one day and just give everybody, and just not let go. But each of you are very special and thank you. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, a very happy holiday coming up. Merry Christmas and happy, healthy New Year. And we'll talk soon. So have a beautiful rest of the day and thank you for spending your morning with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Sandy. Good seeing everybody.
You as well.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.